the Lantern Man. It was said that if you walked the woods near Hollow Creek on Halloween night, you might see him, the Lantern Man. Nobody knew exactly what he was. Some claimed he was a spirit, others a demon, and a few swore he was a cursed soul doomed to wander forever. But everyone agreed on one thing. If the Lantern Man found you, you wouldn't be seen again. 13-year-old Isaac had heard the stories his whole life. His grandmother used to warn him and his sister, Lily, about the Lantern Man, saying, "When the fog rolls thick and the lantern burns low, don't follow the light, or you'll never come home." The legend always gave Isaac chills, but he never believed it. Not really. He and Lily had explored the woods around Hollow Creek dozens of times and never found anything more frightening than an owl or a stray cat. But this Halloween was different. The fog rolled in heavy, smothering the streets and forcing the town's trick-or-treating hours to end early. Frustrated by the curfew and bored at home, Isaac convinced Lily to join him on one last adventure. "We'll just go to the creek and back," Isaac promised as they snuck out past the backyard fence. Lily hesitated, hugging her arms against the cold. "Mom will kill us if she finds out." "She won't," Isaac insisted, flashing her a grin. "Come on, it'll be fun." They followed the narrow path into the woods, but the farther they went, the more unfamiliar everything became. The trees seemed taller, their twisted branches creeping in from both sides of the path. The thick fog curled around them like smoke, muffling every sound. Even the forest animals were silent, as though the woods were holding their breath. "Are we almost there?" Lily asked, her voice tight. "Yeah, just a little farther," Isaac lied. But he was beginning to feel uneasy too. The woods weren't supposed to feel this strange, or this quiet. Then, ahead of them, a soft yellow glow flickered through the mist. Lily grabbed Isaac's arm. "What is that?" Isaac squinted through the fog. The glow came into focus. It was an old-fashioned lantern, swaying gently, as though carried by someone just out of sight. "Maybe someone's camping," Isaac whispered. But even as he said it, something about the light felt wrong. Lily tugged his sleeve, panic creeping into her voice. "We should go back." But the lantern floated farther into the mist, drawing Isaac's feet forward before he could stop himself. He felt an odd sense of calm settle over him, as if the lantern was calling him, inviting him. "Isaac, wait!" Lily hissed, but he kept moving, following the light deeper into the woods. The lantern bobbed through the fog, always just out of reach. The trees closed in tighter around them, and the ground beneath Isaac's feet felt soft and spongy, like it was trying to pull him down. Then the light stopped. Isaac reached out, his fingers brushing the cold glass of the lantern. And as the fog parted, the figure holding the lantern stepped into view. He was gaunt and hollow-eyed, with pale skin stretched tight over his bones and tattered rags hanging from his body. His grin was too wide, his teeth yellow and sharp. "Lost, are we?" the Lantern Man rasped, his voice like the crackling flame inside the lantern. Isaac tried to back away, but the ground shifted beneath his feet. The roots of the forest coiled around his ankles, and the trees seemed to lean closer, eager to trap him. Who are you?" Isaac whispered. The man's grin widened. "I was once like you," he murmured, "just another boy who followed the light." His eyes gleamed with cruel satisfaction. "Now, I guide others to join me." Inside the lantern, Isaac saw a reflection, not his own, but Lily's. She was standing alone in the woods, calling his name in desperation. "You're mine now," the Lantern Man whispered. "Time to join the others." Terror jolted through Isaac. With every ounce of strength, he tore his feet free from the clinging roots and ran. Behind him, the Lantern Man's footsteps followed, slow and patient, as if he knew Isaac would return eventually. Isaac burst through the fog and collided with Lily, who stood at the edge of the woods, tears streaming down her face. "Isaac," she cried, wrapping her arms around him. "I thought you were gone." They sprinted home, not daring to look back. But even as they reached the safety of their house, Isaac felt the Lantern Man's presence, like a shadow waiting just beyond the trees. A dark change. Over the next few days, Lily began to notice something strange about Isaac. At first, it was small things. He seemed distracted, staring into the distance as though listening to a voice only he could hear. He stopped talking as much, and when he did, his words felt off, like they weren't entirely his own. Then came the lights. Isaac couldn't stop staring at them. Street lights, flashlights, even the flicker of candles. His gaze lingered too long, as if drawn to the glow. At night, Lily caught him sitting by the window, staring toward the woods with a distant, yearning expression. "Isaac?" she asked one evening, her voice soft with concern. "Are you okay?" Isaac blinked, as if waking from a dream. "Yeah," he mumbled, but his voice lacked its usual warmth. That night, Lily overheard their grandmother talking to their mother. "Do you remember the old legend?" Grandma whispered. "About the boy who went missing long ago? They say he wandered too deep into the woods one Halloween night, and when they found him, all that was left was an old lantern." Lily's heart sank. She looked at Isaac, sitting in the dark corner of the room, his eyes glowing faintly in the dim light, like the flame of a lantern, a haunting fate. The pull of the lantern grew stronger each day, gnawing at Isaac's mind. He could feel the Lantern Man's presence like a shadow in his soul, waiting for him to return. On the first foggy night of November, Isaac couldn't resist any longer. As the mist rolled in, he slipped out of bed, his feet moving silently across the floor. Lily woke just in time to see him standing at the door, his reflection in the window grinning back, not with Isaac's usual smile, but with the crooked, wide grin of the Lantern Man. In the reflection's hand, a lantern glowed softly. "Isaac!" Lily whispered in terror, but it was too late. From the woods beyond the house, a familiar voice whispered, "Time to join the others." Isaac gave her one last, lingering glance, then stepped into the fog. And when Halloween came again, the lantern's glow would return to the woods, waiting for another soul to follow the light.